Welcome, members. We welcome you all at our JB Nagar CP Study Circle virtual platform on a very important topic, that is the important auditing while doing the bank branch audit. And today we have invited the eminent speaker, CA Dhananjay sir. He's long way from the Nagpur. He's joining us to deliberate on this very important topic. And we welcome you all. Just to formally introduce the today's speaker, I would like to invite our Deputy Convener CA Vijayta Jaiswalji. She will formally introduce the today's speaker.
Thank you, Convener sir, Jashbhai. It's a pleasure to introduce the guest speaker for the day, CA Dhananjay Gokhale. He cleared his CA in 2012, and post-qualification he's DISA and FAFD in forensic and fraud detection, that is from the ICAI. As for his professional profile, he has worked at MP Chitle and Company, Mumbai, in the profile of mutual fund NAV calculation. And he's also worked at Spandan Heart Hospital at Nagpur as a consultant with the profile of analysis of hospital and managing of accounts. And he has served as a functional consultant in Office Box Software Private Limited with a profile of development of web-based ERP module and data migration of Tally. He's a partner in Kedar, Gokhale and Company. And he is in business intelligence developer in Perficient Incorporated with a profile of Power BI, Tableau, which is data analytics, OneStream, Oracle, HFM, etc. As far his training profile goes, he has developed more than 50 plus webinars on Finacle report import, Excel and cloud-based office management in organizations like VMA, Connect Easy, ICAI, WRC, in Amravati, Varda, Kota, and of course now at JB Nagar. So, and he has delivered 15 plus physical sessions in various branches of ICAI and 80 plus sessions as a contributory faculty in colleges like City, Premier, GS Colony, etc. He has written articles on information technology relating to topics in CA Journal of the Nagpur and Calicut branch. And he also runs a YouTube channel, Excel Kids, and website excelkida.com for free Excel and IT related techniques for CA. And he has conducted system audit and migration audits of cooperative banks with various CS firms, developed free of cost Excel add-in for chartered accountants and data analysts, developed and run, and he has developed and is a running website with free utilities for chartered accountants for generation of GSTR 9C, handy browser extensions, ERP cloud analysis.in. And he's also developed and he's running an open source project for loading Tally data into database server for advanced data analytics. Quite an impressive profile he has. And so we have proudly welcomed Dhananjay sir to take over the session.
Yes, we welcome you, sir, at the JB Nagar CP Study Circle. And sir, we are very much fortunate that apart from the technical updates, last week we had a session on the recent changes, RBI notifications on the bank branch audit. But apart from the technical knowledge, we will be needed some of the tools which may help us in performing our audit duties, audit assignments within a very limited period of time, but with a very exhaustive manner. So I hope today's sessions will be helpful for the members also. And we request all the members to please put your queries in the chat box. And we request our speaker, sir, as per the available time limit, he will answer most of the queries either in between the sessions or maybe at the end of the sessions as per his convenience. So with this, we welcome you, sir. And over to you, Dhananjay, sir.
Thank you. So thank you, Jayesh, sir. It's glad to again come to JB Nagar chapter. So I guess after 2 years, I am again back in this chapter for deliberation. I remember during Seema ma'am's time I was there, again online only. And so thank you for providing me again an opportunity to connect with all of you and sharing my knowledge. So I think without wasting time, let's quickly start with the session. So let me tell you, no PPTs for today. It is purely demonstration based, and it would be an hands-on. So we are all, I know we are all sitting with our laptops, but I would say that is a very best opportunity to use as to train yourself. And so let's start with our today's hands-on. So, but before I start with the hands-on, let me get you through the session, that what exactly we are going to perform or I would be demonstrating, and what are the key takeaways you can expect from today's session. Okay, so today's session mostly would be focusing on Excel. Okay, so I would be importing bank statement generated by Finacle system. And let's not restrict this to Finacle. You can even perform this on Banks 24 or any of the cooperative bank generated statement. So objective is that import this data into Excel and then do some analysis so that before you pick up any file, you should be always ready with your analysis that whether I should be picking up this file and what I can expect in this file. Because as you know, Excel is an excellent audit tool. It can detect many red flags for you in advance. Okay, so let's start. So I would start by sharing my screen. Let me share. Okay, let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I will turn off my camera for better screen bandwidth. Okay, so let me show you some account statement and where. Okay. Now this statement you can also download. I am sharing you all the download link of this statement. So even I have this statement over cloud. So let me download with all of you. So I'm pasting download link for all these practice files. Sorry. Okay, so in the chat window, you can see the download link. So I will also use the same link to download. Okay, so you would see a zip folder and simply just right click and extract all the files. You can place it on the desktop also. They are not very heavy. Okay, and you would end up with all these files. And let me tell you, these are all the dummy data, or I will say partially dummy data. So a real data with all the dates, amount, narration, headings, literally everything changed. Okay, only following the structure of the bank's account statement. Okay. Now the very first step is that some people ask me that can we have this file? Means can we ask branch manager or bank staff for this file in our PC? I would say yes, definitely. Why not? Because otherwise, my question is for you. If you are not having any of the files for analysis, what exactly are you going to maintain for audit documentation? I don't think simply LFAR notes is audit documentation. It is the end result of your audit. But what about audit documentation? So definitely, I would not say all accounts you can have, but you can sample and pick up some accounts on the sample basis and definitely get it mailed from your from branch manager's official email ID to your own. Okay. Now the next thing. So now many people ask that does CBS system generates any file in Excel? No, not at all. So account statement I have seen in Excel only from using net banking menu, which is available only for end users. So I don't think as an end user means we can go into that menu, because again net banking menu portal is different, and this is a pure CBS portal. So pure CBS portal will generally will never allow any Excel download. Rather, it doesn't has. It has simply textual download. So it can either print or print it to file, print it to printer or print it to file. There are only two options I have seen. So I couldn't include the screenshot because we are not allowed to take screenshot of directly from the banking systems. Okay. So these are the files. So I will say these are the Finacle based files which I was able to extract for my audit, and which are now the dummy versions of the files. And this file comes in this extension, .rpt extension. So bank people say you cannot open this file. I would say we can open this file. Okay. So you can simply, if you double click and open it, by default, you will not be able to open. Okay. So now how you can open it? It's simple. So this is a trick you can follow. Okay, just rename any file. Okay, rename any file. I would rename this and change the extension to .txt. Okay, extension to .txt. And now for a surprise, if you double click, you can open it. Okay, so let me walk you through the data. So this is how an textual dump or print to file command from run from any of these Finacle system, or maybe even Banks 24. I have not seen Banks 24 one, but probably whatever which can be printed to a printer appears like this. Okay. And let's say if in your system it doesn't appears like this, that's very easy. You can go to format, disable word wrap. Okay. Never enable word wrap. So just disable your word wrapping. Okay. Then change the font to consolas. Okay. Consolas. This is actually a printer form, dot matrix printer font, I can say. And when you change to this font, all the amounts properly appear one another. Now, my next question is that can we analyze this? If the bank statement is 1 or 2 pages, definitely you can. But like in this case, this statement is pretty long, almost 13 to 14 pages. So definitely you cannot analyze directly in Notepad. So now let's import this in Excel, which is the main demonstration for today's session. So, and before I begin with, so let us keep session interactive. Which version of Microsoft Excel are you having installed in your PC? Can I know? Okay, 2021, 2019, good. Kindly share with me on the chat that which version of Microsoft Excel you are having. Ma'am, there is no version called 2018. 19 होगा या 16 होगा, मिडल का कोई नहीं. Okay, probably it must be 2019. No issue. And so can I conclude that remaining people don't have Excel installed totally? Because that is very strange. चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट के पीसी में एक्सेल नहीं है, तो अकॉर्डिंग टू मी फिर वो पीसी एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता है. और आई वुड से दैट चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट आल्सो नॉट. डेफिनेटली आपके इसमें एक्सेल है. ओके, देन आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि कौन सा वर्जन ऑफ एक्सेल है. यू मस्ट नॉट बी नोइंग इट. नो इशू, बता देता हूँ. Just open your Excel. Okay, I will tell you how you can know which version of Excel you are having. Just open your Excel. If you can see file menu, तो 2010 तो है आपके पास कम से कम. Sorry, 2013 तो है ही आपके पास. If you go to file menu and if you go to accounts, here it will display which version of Excel you are having. Okay, like I am having Office 365. Okay, more or less, majority wins. At least you are having 2019 and good, or at least I can say 2016 भी है. Still you can perform today's hands-on. If you don't have 2016 or lower, you are having 2013. I think if you are having 13, then you cannot perform because 13 doesn't support this. So what we are going to use today is this main thing, Power Query, which is a very hot topic nowadays. Power BI and Power Query. Power Query is very hot topic, and Power Query is going to do some analysis for us, and it is going to make our import process very easy for today. Okay, so Power Query we would be using, and Power Query is supported in 2016 or above, and Office 365, of course. This is the latest version, so it will always have. Okay, no issue. Let's start. I hope you all have downloaded the file. So I already pasted the link on the chat window. अगर नहीं है तो फिर से एक बार कर देते हैं chat window पे. Quickly grab the files. Zip file है. You would find 3 to 4 files inside that zip archive. Extract करिए. Okay, and after that, please be with me on my screen for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, I am just expecting 15 minutes from you. After that, you'd be performing it. Okay, I would be helping all of you, but before that, I would be demonstrating. So kindly check out the demonstration for first 15 minutes and try to understand it. I know कि पहले एक झटके में किसी को भी नहीं आता है. Okay, so let's start. Okay, now coming back to the bank statement. Okay, coming back to the bank statement. So I have this CC account. Okay, now we are going to import this account statement into Excel. So I would go to Excel, go to Data tab, and I would go to Get Data from File, and here you would get text or CSV. Okay, so these are the text files. Moment I renamed it to TXT, it got converted into TXT file, text file. Okay, so I'm going to import this text file, reports, and yeah, this one, A1 creations. So let me import it. And the very first step, Excel generally fails. Excel will fail in the very first step because the reason is that we had many irritations or many distractions for Excel, like name of the party, then addresses, header, footer. Okay, and this thing is really confusing Excel, that what are the columns? Okay, which are the columns in this back statement? So Excel failed to detect it. So now Excel wants us to manually tell it that where are our columns end or what are our column endings. So I would press transform data. Now this will open Power Query editor. So this is supported in only in Excel 2016 or above. इससे पुराना है तो काइंडली परचेस कर दीजिए. 5,000 रुपीज का आता है, बहुत महंगा नहीं है. ओके, 5 यूजर्स इन 5,000 रुपीज, दैट मीन्स 1,000 पर यूजर. Okay, next step. Now the beauty of the Power Query is that similar to macros, it also records your step. Just like we have record macro button, it also records our steps. Only thing is that in macro there is a programming. In Power Query, there is no such programming. It is just graphical drag drop to transform or play with the data. So now the very first step I require is that what are the column endings? So I need to manually tell Excel that date column end at this position, particulars here, check number here, withdrawal here, deposit here, balance here. Now the thumb rule is that date and numbers are always right aligned. So it is very easy to identify how long or where does withdrawal column ends. But particulars or narration column is generally tricky. So let us assume that, let's say after this 2-3 characters can appear. So safely somewhere here, my narration column ends. Okay, now let me split it into columns. So just like our Excel text to column, Power Query also has text to column. Okay, split column, but it is very advanced than the Excel's one. Okay, Power Query is an embedded module of Excel, but it is very advanced compared to Excel. So if I choose by positions, okay, now it is asking me. So it doesn't have a graphical editor, that column delimiter, just like Excel, but still remaining things are powerful. Okay, and we need to tell that where the column ends, and 0 should be the first column. Okay, 0 should be the first column as per the Power. Okay, now how to check that where our each column ends? So if I go to at the leftmost position where my cursor is, and if I check in Notepad, see column number 1. Okay, so my first column start with 1, and in Excel column number starts with 0. Okay, so there would be always anomaly of 1 column. Okay, so let's plot that where are my columns ending. So my first column ends at date, column data ends at column number 11. That means 10 as per Excel. So let me, I think, write it in Notepad. Okay, so 0, comma, first column ends at 10. 11 means I have to deduct 1 from it. Okay, particular column somewhere here, 63, that means 62. All right, 62. Then check number column, let's say somewhere here, 74. ये तो simple है withdrawal. You can simply click here, 91. Okay, 91, then 110, 10. And last column is that. So debit credit is a separate column for us. So I would say column number 130, that means 129. Okay, so we are done with. So this would split our data into multiple columns. Okay, so let me go to Excel and paste this column endings. Okay, place this column ending. So I can see various data split into various columns. Okay, various column. Now, before I start with any of this step, first let us rename the column headings. If you see column 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Okay, so this is something irritating. So let's first rename this and then do up our cleanup actions. Okay, so I will double click and rename it. So this is my date column. Date, particulars, check number, CHQ, withdrawal, deposit, and this is balance. And the last one is DRCR, okay, debit credit. So DRCR. Okay, so first let us rename this because after cleanup, data sanitization, all this data would be gone of column headings. So I need to capture this. Okay, next. Now if I go to account statement, not each and every row I would be requiring. So we will be requiring just only those rows to remain where there is some amount in withdrawal or deposit. Now this is difficult check to apply because either there would be an amount in withdrawal or deposit, not both at the same time. So I think let's conclude with a simple parameter. So can I say that, let's say if I find, if in a row, if I find any data in date column, okay, date column, this row is important for me. And let's say these are the rows where simply branch name is there, service branch, Nagpur, then Mumbai. So this is something not data for me. It doesn't signify anything. I am just simply interested in this keywords, okay, mostly keywords. So let's go to Excel and convert this entire date column into the, so currently this column is into textual settings, okay, textual settings. That's why our dates are left aligned, okay. So let's forcefully convert this column. So I will select this, go to transform and forcefully convert this to date, okay. Forcefully convert this to date. Okay, and if you notice, Power Query is recording steps of whatever things, actions I'm doing. So I changed the column name and now I change the column type. Okay, before this, it was like this. And now after forcefully converting this date column, I'm getting, this is the output I get. Now issue is that in few cells I got error. Okay, in few cells I got errors. Now the reason of this error is that, so basically Power Query is trying to convert all this text into date. So wherever the cell was blank, like row number 19, it writes null. Okay, it writes null. So blank cell is equal to null. Blank cell in Excel is equal to null in Power Query. Okay, so there is no date, no data, so null. But issue was at cell number 18, date is written, 15 statement is written. So this is not a valid. So this cell is not having a valid date. So it got converted to error because Excel Power Query says it is not a valid date. Now issue is that unless and until I don't remove this error or replace this error, I cannot move forward. Okay. Otherwise, I would end up with some incorrect data. So I will have to substitute this error with something else. So let me select the entire column and here in replace values drop down, I have replace errors. So I will say wherever you find error, simply convert it to null. That means I'm removing text from there. Okay, I will removing the text from there. Okay, now the red gone. Now green and black. Green means cell is having some date. Okay, valid date. And blank means that cell is having is blank, empty. 50% empty, 50% data is there. Okay, now I can very easily tell Power Query that kindly delete all the rows where null is written because that is of no use for us. So I can say remove the empty cells, empty rows. Okay, now I have only those cells which are having valid dates. Okay, valid dates. So if you see, now compare it, see, we are all having those cells where at least some date is found. Okay, now the next step is that this is into text. So it is center aligned. It is not a number because then number is always right aligned and date is also always right aligned. And you can check for the icon. See, this is a date icon. Now let us select this 1, 2, 3 and convert it to number. So I will say convert it to decimal number. Okay. So wherever valid number was found, okay, it will get converted to number, and wherever blank was there, null will be written. Okay. So I think let us replace this null values with zeros. Okay. So let's say withdrawal is having some amount, then deposit should be 0. So that if you want to perform any mathematical addition, we can do it. So I will select both the column and do a find replace. Replace values. So kindly replace empty cell with 0 so that I am having number 0 written here. Okay. We are even done with this. Now one last step remains. Now since this is a CC account, okay. Now Finacle is not giving sign plus minus sign to it. It is writing debit credit. But issue is that with DRCR written here, I would not be able to add up this number in Excel. So I separated DRCR into separate column. But now the next issue is that even CR will appear as positive. Okay. Even CR will appear as positive because Finacle or even other banks follow system of writing DRCR. So they never convert number to negative. So we will have to introduce one column which will write minus sign to this balance column based on the debit or credit. So let's assume that all debit is a positive because since it is a CC account, so mostly you would be having debit balance only. So if debit is positive, credit balance should be negative for us. So let me add one column. All, let's say XYZ. I can rename it later on. Okay. And in Power Query, you can write if like this. Okay. Just like Excel, but not very similar. If this column name. So in Excel, we used to write cell reference A1, A2, B1, B2. Here it says that there is no concept of cell. There is just concept of columns, and that formula would be repeated for rows automatically. So if DRCR, I will double click on this column is having debit written here, then this column, XYZ column should have balance as a positive. Otherwise, it should multiply minus balance. That means it should make the balance as a negative. Multiply it with -1. Okay. So it would add one more column. Now, luckily, there are no credit values here. So otherwise, you would see minus appearing here in front of CR values. Okay, now I can remove these two columns and consolidate with this single column. So I will right click and remove this. Okay, and rename this back as a balance. Balance. And this one is decimal number. Okay. Okay, so we are done with the steps and our Power Query has recorded all these steps. Now let us load this. So before loading, let me rename this worksheet name. Account statement. Okay, account statement. And close and load. Okay, so now this same textual one is loaded into Excel, and this one is very easy to analyze. Okay, I can very easily apply filters to deposits, withdrawals like this. Okay, maybe cash. So I'll simply say all the cash transactions. So this is very easy for doing analysis now. So you can do much of your ledger scrutiny and study the account to check for the red flags if it is having any. Okay, now the beauty of this process is that let me show you the beauty of this. So let me first save this file. I will save this file. Desktop reports. So this CC account was of A1 creations. Okay, let me rename this file A1 creations. Okay, now the beauty of this step is that this Power Query file is that it acts as a template. Okay, let's say second CC account I want to convert. Now I don't have to repeat step like this. Okay, I don't have to again check for the column endings, because anyway, if it is for the same bank, then I don't have to check for the column endings. It would be same for all the same bank. Okay, like this SBI, then it would be same. So it doesn't matter that which branch you are picking. CBS system have the same column delimiters. Okay, so I just simply need to make a copy of this file. Okay, copy, paste. I simply need to make a copy paste, and let's say I want to do this for this Krantivir trading. Okay, Krantivir trading. So let me rename this file to Krantivir trading and again open it. Enable content. Now I need not follow all the steps. So all the steps were recorded. So now if I go to data tab and queries and connection, and if I edit this, if I right click and edit this, again Power Query editor would be open. Okay, now beauty is that we recorded all the steps. Power Query was recording all of our steps. So the very first step was that we imported a file. Okay, like that. So now if I go to this setting icon of the very first step of importing file. Okay, if I click here, I can browse for the another account statement I'm having, like Krantivir trading. Okay, import and press OK, and let's go to the last step. See, it would do the same action, perform the same action for, means before that there were error, then we removed the error. So it would perform all the same action for it. And this data would be swapped now. Okay, so this data got swapped. So it is just 10 to 50-second job once you make this template file. So every Excel file is a template file for you. Okay, once you do it for one branch, then this file would act you as a template for every branch or every account for all the entire year of that bank. Okay, so you can in one shot refer this file, email this file to your colleagues, other bank, and they can quickly import it statement and start with the ledger scrutiny. Okay, so this is the beauty of Power Query. So if you think that macro is the only thing, powerful thing in Excel, forget it. This is the most powerful thing and most dynamic thing, and this doesn't require any programming. So if you see, I didn't wrote any of the single commands. Okay, or like macros, VB macros. I didn't wrote any of the commands. And even if you notice, in macros, the file extension gets changed to XLSM. Okay, and this is simple Excel file. So it even didn't change the extension because Excel holds all the steps I performed. Okay, so please start with this. So kindly attempt to at least import one account, and I'm sure in first shot you would not be able to do. You may have to repeatedly do it for twice or thrice. And the beauty of the Power Query is that you can go back and change any of the steps if you did any mistake. Sorry. So please try this and let me know if you require any help or doubt. I would say if you have any facing issues or doubts, you can paste it on the chat window. Okay, you're stuck in the splitting of the column. I will share you the column endings so that at least you can simply proceed. So I'm sharing the column endings so that directly in this split column step, you can simply enter this column endings and move forward. And don't worry if your column endings are incorrect, you can always go back to this step, change, click on the setting icon and change the column numbers. So again, this is a trial error, I would say. For every bank, this is a trial error. Debit credit column again, I would say debit credit column. Sorry. I'm pasting this so that just you can quickly expedite. Debit credit column is simple. Now this syntax is not very much similar to Excel because there are spaces in Power Query and no brackets. So it is not a function, it is a statement in Power Query. In Excel, you have to write is equal to IF. Okay. In Power Query, you can write spaces and like this. Or I would say you can even do this multi-line also. You can press enter and split your formula into multiple lines also. So these are the steps. If you just want me to walk through the steps, okay, first I split. Before this, it was something like this. Okay, then we split the columns. Then we renamed this step was auto-generated. Okay, then we renamed the column like this: date, particulars, check, withdrawal, deposit, balance, and last one as DRCR. Okay, last one as DRCR. Then we forcefully converted the first column, date column, into date by going into transform, this menu. Okay. Then some errors came. Then we followed a step of replace error. Okay. Replace error with null. Null means blank in Power Query. Somewhere in the transform, you would find this replace errors. Okay. Then after that, we filtered out, we applied this filter, remove empty to this date column. So after that, all the remaining unwanted rows like header, footer, column headings were removed. Okay, then we forcefully converted withdrawal and deposit column to number, withdrawal, deposit, and balance to number. Then we replaced null with 0 from here. We replaced null with 0. Okay, then I added a temporary column XYZ and wrote this expression: if DRCR column is having debit, then refer balance column, otherwise refer balance column, but multiply it with -1. Okay. And then I removed this 2 columns, renamed it, and loaded the data back. Yeah, please try this. 10 minutes to do this. I will wait for 10 minutes. Sir, Power Query you cannot download. Power Query is there itself inside the Excel. And if you don't have Power Query, then you have very old Excel. So time to change Excel then. Upgrade your Excel. If you are having Office 2016, if you are having Office 2016 or above, then you have Power Query already there. Okay. So keep on sharing questions, doubts if you are stuck anywhere. Let's take 10 minutes. So I'm assuming you'll require 5 to 10 minutes for this. Available on YouTube? No. But I think this session is being recorded. So maybe you can request administrator, JB Nagar administrators.
We do upload on YouTube on the JP Nagar channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can always refer from there.
Yes.
It is showing error in the custom column, then I would recommend just for now, copy paste this expression. Okay. See here, somewhere here. I have seen many times spaces are missing. Okay. Therefore, and this is case sensitive. Okay. So if cannot be in capital, it should be in small. Power Query is case sensitive, not like Excel, where you can type in small and then everything gets converted to capital. No, it is pretty much case sensitive. So for now, Payal ma'am, quickly grab from here, from chat window. Let's wait 5 to 6 minutes more, and then we can proceed forward. So please try this. I know you can refer this recorded session, but definitely in the recorded session, if you get any doubts, I might not be able to help you. So if please try this now itself on your PC, so that if you have any queries, you can quickly share this on the chat window, and maybe I can quickly guide you for that. Date change unable to convert null into null. Okay, let's see why. Okay, that step is very simple. You need to select the entire column. Okay, and from here, okay, in transform, replace errors. Okay, replace errors. So that is step is having replace errors. Replace error with null, and it should be small, no spaces in front or back. It should be null in small. I hope this answers your question. So there are two types of find replace. Okay, find replace values and find replace errors. So you have to, in the first one, date one, you have to find replace use errors, and in numbers you have to use find replace values. Okay, perfect. Can we drop all file in one Excel? Yes, you can, but I would not recommend this because this is not the only analysis we are doing. There is few more analysis. So I would say maintain one file for each account. You can again pick up the same thing but like supporting analysis sheets, they would be mixed for multiple accounts. So I'm not recommending this practice. So maintain a separate Excel file for each and every account. How to edit filter? Very simple. Replacing error. So it is a filter only. Filter rows. So you can apply filter and remove empty from here. Remove empty. Okay. Remove empty means it will scan this column, date column, and wherever null was written, so it will remove entire row. Okay, not that cell, entire row. Okay, one more minute, and after that we move forward. So quickly try this. These are not very difficult. Debit credit. Okay, debit credit step is simple. So basically now issue is that I had two columns, okay, balance and DRCR, and based on that I just want one column, okay, balance, where if DR is written, this amount should be positive, and if CR is written, this amount should get negative. So I simply added one temporary column, okay, one temporary column. And in that temporary column, I wrote condition that this temporary column should have balance written, value of balance coming if in DRCR column debit is written. Otherwise, it should have negative balance written, negative balance in this column, okay, conditional one. And after that, once I have this temporary column, then I removed both these column, okay. I removed both this column and rename this XYZ to balance, because now this is my actual balance column. So for this, you will have to actually test some statement where you have actually credit values in the CC account. Generally होता नहीं है हमारे इंडिया में CC अकाउंट बोलने से कंप्लीट डेबिट पूरी लिमिट भी यूज कर लेते लोग, छोड़ते ही नहीं है. Okay, but you may find some people that where their account even go to credit balance even in spite of a CC account. Sorry. Okay, I think let's move forward. You can watch the recorded version of this. Okay. Let's move forward for the further analysis. Let me save this. Okay, and let me delete this file because actually I am going to add few more processing into this account statement, which I would be reusing. So this is again my template file. Okay, now let's say I can do many of the ledger analysis scrutiny from here. Let's say I want to analyze that which are the accounts mostly with debit credit. So you can filter out, or deposits greater than, let's say, 50,000. You can simply. So if you can see, there are heavy cash deposits. So I don't think this is a red flag, but at least this can indicate that maybe you can check that why this uh, they are having so much cash balances. Not all are the cash transactions. Let's say cash word. Okay, so cash deposit 1,17,000. Okay, so you can maybe check that why consistent cash deposits are there, like on 31st, 30th, 31st, also some cash deposit. So some red flag analysis. Let's do it. Any reason for this? Now let's make this session a bit interactive. Okay, some red flag analysis I want to do. So let's say I have cash deposits greater than 20,000. So first I will filter deposits, and after that somewhere where cash word comes. Okay. Okay. Deposits of cash on this same day. Any red flag? Is this any red flag? Does it signify any red flag? You can share your red flags on the chat window. Okay, we can even quickly do some analysis, like just add up all this. I think first let me properly give this comma separated. Okay. Now it is easy. Greater than 20,000 and having
मेरा
फ्री हो गया
और डालती है.
और कुछ नहीं दे जाएंगे.
I think there is some internet failure and the speakers are speaker sir will be joining in 5 minutes, sir. So we'll have to wait for 5 minutes till the time he joins.
उसमें से आपको 5 के रिसीव हुआ था तो 559 बचा। हाँ तो वही बोल रही हूँ। I would just like to inform all the participants that the speaker he is disconnected because of some power issue at his end. He will be rejoining in 2 to 3 minutes to 5 minutes. जो राहुल सर का छोड़ के आना आपको बोले ना 10-10
बंद हो गया बॉस। बंद ही हो गया ये।
पावर का इशू है।
ये आएगा यूट्यूब के ऊपर वीडियो, अपन बीच से देख रहे हैं।
अच्छा आएगा?
हाँ वो बोला है आएगा यूट्यूब पर, वो बोला है जेबी
Okay, so apologies. So I had power down. So let's resume back. Let me share my screen back. So I hope you got some time to practice. Okay, so let's resume back. Okay, so here. Okay, now the next step is that, so we are doing some of the red flag analysis. Okay, so this way you can do some of the analysis and check that whether there are some deliberate credit summation and debit credit summations. Okay, so there can be a deliberate credit summations. Naturally, one cannot means determine the NPA based on that, because credit summations are that is a legal thing. So you cannot say that this is a still NPA. So we'll ignore the this credit summations and declare it NPA. No, but naturally, if you find too much of window dressing like this, that let's say at the month end some credit summation there and deliberately some from some unrelated party to which no sales is there, it is coming, then maybe you might hint out that we find something fishy in that. At the most, I think we can write only that, not anything about that. Okay, is my voice audible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and screen is also visible.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
now let's move forward. Okay, now the next thing is that let's do some further analysis, wherein now I want now this is a very hot topic. Okay, so now again I would require inputs from you, so I would require chat window. Can it happen that so I would focus more on the CC account, because in term loans I have never seen this, or hardly there is chances, but in CC account it happens. So can interest credited, debited be incorrect? Can system debit incorrect interest to CC account? Please share your views on the chat window. Can system debit incorrect CC interest, CC account interest? Yes, no, or maybe if yes, what might be the reason of debiting an incorrect CC interest by the system? I'm expecting some answers from you in the chat window. I hope, or everyone says that no, system will never make mistake and it will always debit credit exact amount. I have seen incorrect interest being debited into CC account. What might be the reason? I actually seen that when I manually calculated CC interest, it was incorrect. So system calculated incorrectly. What was the reason? Can anybody tell me? Or maybe you never check it. Is everyone with me? Can anybody suggest me that or share me the reason of incorrect interest being debited to CC account? So feel free to answer this on the chat window, or you can unmute and also answer it. Friends, I'm surprised. As auditor, I expect that we know this reasonings. Am I audible? Hello? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Okay, I'm audible. Okay, no sure. I thought I was not able. Okay, I guess many of the people have just left the laptop on for CP. No issues. So let me tell you the reason for that. Maybe wrong credit. Sir, maybe wrong credit means, can you explain me? Means bit. It's very simple. Answer is very simple. And there are events where these things happen. Okay, there are events where such things happen. Can anybody tell me what are those events where from where wrong system credit, wrong interest starts debiting into the CC account? Adjustment entries. So, no, sir, you are very close to answer now. Adjustment entries. What are those adjustment entries? That is one of the reason, but there is one very strong reason behind this. And I have seen office accounts. No, not exactly. It might be one of the reason, but not a strong reason, I would say. There is one strong reason and wherein this happens. Okay. And this particularly happens in CC account only. And many auditors fail to detect this. Okay, entry rated through office accounts. Okay, so let's say you are routing entry through office account and that was not to be routed. Okay, but still you need to calculate interest. I guess many of the auditors are still not aware that has anyone reconciled interest in the system with interest in the file written in the sanction letter? So I want to know how many of the bank auditors really check that the interest mentioned in the sanction letter, whether it is really put into the system or not. And I'm very sure many auditors don't check at all. Okay. And I have found many times that interest was incorrect. Change in floating rate. No, I would say it. So as you know, interest consists of MCLR plus spread. Bank would always take at utmost care to change the MCLR. They would rather never miss it. Otherwise, all the CC accounts interest would be wrong. But the spread, if you are aware something about the spread, can it happen that incorrect spread might be entered into system? Okay, and what is the event when this incorrect spread is entered? Which is that event in the CC account's lifetime due to which an incorrect spread is, means there is an inconsistency of, yes, exactly, renewal of CC account. Very correct. Shrikant sir, very correct answer. So I have seen many times during the renewal, the renewal papers, new spread is mentioned, and that spread is many times not updated in the system. The same old spread gets continued. MCLR will change. I agree, because MCLR, that employee cannot change. That bank has to change system wide. But plus spread, that spread portion, that has to be done by each branch. So sanctioning officer. So they have to very carefully change that spread into system. And I have seen this sanctioning officers or that employees missing this in few cases. And that is where we can pick up these things. So if it is incorrect, so I would say that not every time this will happen, but let's say if this happens, then this is the case for your MOC. Okay, this is the best case for issuing an MOC. Now, can we write MOC, write something in MOC that bank needs to recalculate the interest? Will bank do that, or whether it is our responsibility of recalculating the interest? If it is bank's responsibility, then definitely you cannot pass it in MOC, because MOC requires quantification. Okay, so definitely we need to quantify the interest. So now let's quantify this interest. Okay. Now for this, we need to calculate the interest. So we need daily product of the interest. Now let me edit this Power Query and separate out the interest transactions. Okay, separate out the interest transactions. Okay, so I would make right click and make a reference of this query. And I would say CC interest. And here I am interested with only interest transactions. So interest transaction would have some keyword there. And like in this case, int.coll. Okay, this is the keyword. So if I filter out something like this, contains int.coll and press OK. Okay, so these are the 12 months interest amounts. Okay, and again, it would be in debit side. Let me remove the remaining column. Okay, and I want month name. So interest for April, May, June, July, August, like this. So I would add one column, custom column, month. Okay. And Power Query supports many of the formulas. Okay, just like Excel, Power Query has many formulas. Like let's say I want to extract month name from this date. There is a function. Date functions. Okay. So there is a function called date dot month. Okay, month and month name. So I want name of the month like this to appear. Okay, date dot month name. Let me copy paste this function, bracket open, and in Power Query, instead of cell reference, you have column reference. Okay. April, May, June, like this. Let me shift it here and delete this date column. So these are my CC account interest figures for April, May, June, July, March. Let's me load it into. So this will create one more worksheet, CC interest. Let me save this. Okay. So I just simply automated this step, nothing. So that for all CC accounts, I can have this CC interest ready. Okay. Now we need to make a copy of this. Okay. Let me make a copy of this worksheet for recalculation of interest. So I will create a copy of this account statement, and I would say a revise account statement, because I am under assumption. So I am under assumption that this CC interest amounts are incorrect. Okay. The CC amount interests are incorrect. So I want the correct ones. So let me calculate daily product of interest. Okay, so I would require dates. 1st April 2018 to 31st March. So 1/4/2018 plus 1. Okay, until all the 365 days. One more day. Okay. Let me freeze this row. Freeze top row. Okay, these are my dates. Okay, and next I want balance, closing balance on as on this date, as on this date. So which function will fetch closing balances? Which function can fetch closing balances? Okay, VLOOKUP and fetch closing balances is equal to VLOOKUP. Okay, like this, comma 6, comma exact match. Okay, exact match. Okay, now the issue. So now the issue is that this is the account statement with incorrect CC amounts. Okay, now CC interests. Now I want to calculate one more statement where correct amounts are there. Okay, so I need to change this, but this is linked to Power Query. So I will have to break Power Query link with this. So I will have to go here, right click here, table, and convert it to range, so that this will break connection with the Power Query. So that, let's say by mistake I press refresh all, this sheet will not vanish away, will not get overwritten with again interest amounts written here. Okay, now I need to let me add filters. Okay, this column, let me remove this value and write 0 currently, and I would substitute this with fresh values. I think let us remove this formatting also. So I'm going to remove this formatting, whole formatting. Okay. No fill, automatic, and no border. Okay. And freeze top row. Okay, now balance, I need to recalculate it because I would be substituting fresh interest, recalculated interest here. So last day closing balance plus withdrawal minus deposit, because balance I am treating it as a debit as a positive. So withdrawal is my debit, deposit is my credit. And likewise for all the transactions. Okay. And let me filter out this. Okay, now let us pull the closing balances. Now you can see hash NA coming here. Okay, hash NA coming here because on second there was no balance. Okay, so I'll have to revise my VLOOKUP a bit. So I'll have to, instead of this false, sorry, I'll have to do this approximate match. Okay, approximate match. Now let's check on first balances, closing balances, 1573, 321. Perfect. 321. On second, it should repeat. And on third, there are two entries. So balance should be 1565481. Okay. 1565481. So this is working perfectly. This is working perfectly. Okay, so we have closing balances. Now rate of interest. Okay. Rate of interest. So this is a percentage column. So let's say it was 9.5%, and let's say in somewhere in October, let's say 20th October, there was renewal. So from 21st October, this became 10.1%. Okay, let's say MCLR plus spread. Now this after adding new spread and fresh MCLR, now this CC account interest has become 10.1%. So I would require calculation of daily product. Okay. Daily product. So this interest would be daily closing balance into this rate, and I want this interest for 1 day. So divided by 365. So this is the daily closing interest based on this ROI. Okay. Now the next step is I should charge this interest. Okay, I should charge this interest here because this was the wrong interest rate charge. Okay, this was the wrong interest rate charge. Let's assume I want to charge some correct one. So I would be requiring interest figure for April, May, June, July. So let's add month name is equal to text, and let's write capture month name here. 4 times M's. This will capture name of the month here so that I can sum it up. Okay, I can sum it up, and now here in this column I can add. So this was the interest as per system. Okay, and now I want as per auditor. I want this interest as per auditor. Okay, so this should be sum if. So I will sum of the interest column, comma, by this month column. By this month column. Okay. So this would give me interest for the month. Okay, now don't worry, and we require then difference between the interest calculated by system minus auditor. What is the difference? Okay, now the interest of April is okay, correct, okay, but interest of May is incorrect. Can you tell me why? Interest of May is actually incorrect. Can anybody tell me what's the reason of why May, June, July, August, these interests are incorrect? Any reason that why May interest is incorrect? Can anybody let me know why the May interest is incorrect? Yeah, correct. So interest of April is not considered. Perfect. So this was the interest calculated. So this was as per system, which was hard coded. Okay, but this is our revised interest. So I should be charging this interest in a revised statement. Correct. Okay, so I should go to this 31st month end. Okay, and enter this figure here. Create special values. Okay, now the balance got changed. Okay, now the May interest is correct. Okay, now the May interest is correct. And this way, we need to go on changing the interest. Okay, so let me filter out all the interest transactions. So I would go May. So now 7572. Okay, now this is incorrect. Let me charge May interest. Okay, now this is correct. June interest is correct. Let me copy paste June interest. Similarly, July. Let's do it quickly. July. Now, of course, why you are seeing minus, because these are very absurd interest rate which I have put, due to which this is coming. Okay. So actually, this is not a 10.5%. Okay. The interest rates are correct. But in this way, you can actually find the differences. Now, since these interest rates I have taken, these are just hypothetical. Ideally, this account is not having interest at this rate. Okay. Definitely, it must be even higher. Definitely, this interest must be higher. You can see, because in original, you can see these amounts. So somewhere from here, it got renewed. So definitely the interest is higher. Okay. So in this way, you can actually calculate the new interest. So you have account statement as per system, and you have account statement as per the revised or corrected interest, and you can present this analysis, and the difference you will get is the MOC amount. Difference is the MOC amount, which might be income leakage or reverse. So you might need to recover it from customer, or maybe give back customer that interest, extra charge interest. Okay. This way, we can arrive at some figure of MOC. So anyone want to try this? 5 minutes to try this. I would say try at least this. Make a copy of this. Okay. CC account interest. If you don't want to do this using Power Query, leave it. Okay. No, absolutely not issue. At least try to make a copy of this account. Okay. A revise account. Break the Power Query connections and try this daily product basis. Try calculation of interest on daily product basis. Please try this, and if anyone is having doubt, please feel free to ask. quickly try this. After this, I will demonstrate how you can grab bank statement, which is in the format of PDF. Okay. And very interesting thing. Yeah. It would just take 5 minutes to demonstrate that. So just 2 more minutes, quickly try this. Otherwise, even this Excel file would be emailed. Don't worry. Okay, I think now let's resume. Since we are running out of time, let me show you one more thing. Okay, so this is a PDF statement, PDF file I'm having. And unfortunately, now generally in PSC you will not get. In cooperative banks, I found many times they provide PDF as output because of their softwares are designed, CVS are designed that way. Okay. Now, next question is that how to grab data from PDF. Now, few people recommend that copy paste this data, but again, many time we are not able to copy paste this correctly. Okay, even if you try something like this, it doesn't happen very perfectly. Okay, you can see everything being dumped in the same column. And withdrawal deposit. Now this is most difficult. You want to copy. See everything getting dumped into same row. So which one is in withdrawal, which one is deposit? Absolutely, we cannot determine it. Okay. Now, luckily, if you have Office 365 version of Excel, okay, then you have one extra menu in your get data from file called PDF. You can grab the data from PDF also. Okay, this is a very intelligent menu, only and only available in Microsoft or Office 365 version, which is yearly payment option. So if you are Office 2021, definitely you would not have 21, 19, 16, you would not get this option. So Microsoft is providing only to annual subscriptions, such advanced features. Okay, so let me show you that how intelligent this menu is. Okay, so I will browse the same PDF file, ABC marketing. Okay, now Power Query will attempt to check, scan this data and attempt to check if anything appears like a table. Okay, appears like in a tabular format. So this is again a trial error. Not every account statement might be decodable. Okay, like even addressed, it thought that this is a columnar data. Luckily, okay, this is where our data is there. So Power Query was able to detect our data, again not in very good format, but don't worry, Power Query is powerful enough to do the data cleanup. Okay. Now you can make it up. This is a date column, but date and particular column dot combined. Okay, so let us split this column. So split column. Now I will use by number of characters this time, not positions. Okay. So I will say 8 plus 2. 10 characters from the left are represents date. Okay, 10 characters from the left represents different column, is a separate column, and remaining is another column. Okay. Automatically it got converted to date. Okay. And narration or particular in different column. And same way from here for here. Okay, since we are having short time, let us not split this column into DRCR. If you want, you can split something like this. Split by number of character. 2 characters from the right represents DRCR. Okay. DRCR. If you want, you can. But okay, let me quickly rename this date particulars check number withdrawal deposit and this is balance. This is DRCR. I would not demonstrate that DRCR separation step because we don't have enough time. Okay, and let's remove the garbage rows. So all these null values. So let me filter out this, remove empty. And let me substitute this with. So replace values containing blank or null with 0. And this is my statement, account statement. Close and load and done. So very quickly you can grab any of the PDF output also. Okay, any of the PDF output into Excel in one click, in few steps. And again, this is the reusable step. So let's say if you have multiple PDF, you can start making copy of this file, go to edit in that. Go to edit and just browse for the next PDF file. Yeah, new account statement file, and it would do that. It's as simple. Okay. This way, Excel can even grab data from PDF. Not every time it would be possible, but many times I have seen Excel is able to do something. Its Power Query is able to grab the data because of the intelligent engine inside it. So if you are wondering that why should we have legal version of Excel and that too latest, these are the things. So if you want to enjoy this feature, kindly upgrade. Otherwise, best of luck with your older versions. Okay. And I think, yes, I am done with, before the time, I am done with. So let's start our question rounds. How this Excel can be imported in Tally Prime, sir? This is bank audit session, so this is not something out of scope for this session. Okay, please start with the questions if you have any. The house is open for question and Q&A. Any questions, you can unmute and ask, or even paste on the chat window. Sir, I will give you the whole file containing the step. Let me check if I am, yes, file sharing. Perfect. I have the whole Power Query file which I can share you, sir. So that you have all the steps ready-made with you. And you can use it as a reference because, of course, from each bank to bank, this is going to change. The steps would not remain same. So I'm sharing you two files, A1 creations for textual one and ABC marketing for PDF one. Both have the steps. Only thing is that you will have to edit the Power Query and in the very first step, browse your file manually, because currently this is through my desktop, my own PCs. So the name of the user might be different, owner, or in your case, it might be different. So I'm sharing you all the files, both files. Remaining files I already shared. Let me share this file. Let me know if you have any more questions. I'm open to take any questions related to this Power Query demonstration, if you are. Please feel free to type your questions. Or maybe if you have permission to unmute yourself, you can unmute. Okay, while changing FEOM data. Okay, let me answer this. I know. So what you're trying to, okay, so if this doesn't appear, change disable word wrap, change font to consolas, change the font to consolas, and enable the status bar so that you can capture column numbers. Okay, if your font is consolas perfectly, if you are having this consolas font, if you set this, definitely this will appear like this. Okay. Font is consolas for your information. CONSOLAS. Consoles. So please try setting this. Get data tab not visible. If this tab is not visible, then probably you're having older version of Excel. That's the only reason. In Office 2016, you might not have get data, but only data. Or only get. I don't remember. But definitely you will have something like this. So this menu is very consistent for 2019 and 20 and 365. 2016 menu is bit different. Yeah, I remember. So 2016, the menu would be a bit different, but definitely somewhere in data tab you would find this. Get data नाम से नहीं रहेगा, कोई और नाम से रहेगा, सिर्फ data नाम से रहेगा. But you will definitely find this. Interest can be wrong because during renewal, many time the spread portion changes. Okay. MCLR plus spread. MCLR bank staff doesn't have to change. It is generally changed system wide, directly by system people, CBS system people, probably via head office. But the spread is something a negotiated one, or maybe branch manager. I have seen in many banks, branch manager have a discretion of setting the spread. So if account is performing well and maybe the borrower is not very much utilizing the limit, the branch manager might change the spread, considering the changing of spread. Okay. Or let's say if limit is reduced, even the spread might get reduced. So branch manager has a discretion to adjust the spread or vary the spread. And during the renewal, many times it happens that in the sanction letters, they change the spread. But some different employees updating this CC account, masters of CC account in the Finacle or any of the CBS. And as you know, in CBS, you have many parameters and menus and many fields where to punch the data. So sometime it might happen because system would automatically copy paste last one, repeat the last spread. Now it is up to that employee, he has to manually change that spread in the system and then apply it. If he fails to do this, then anyway, last spread would automatically pick up by system. Okay. And that is where the errors happens. So I will say system doesn't commit any errors. It is a human which are committing errors. So system will calculate interest perfectly, but it is a human interaction which is leading to that incorrect CC interest. And this would generally typically happen only in CC. Term loan, I have never seen that they change the interest. If it is fixed, then it is fixed. If it is floating, then anyway system is taking care. So there is very less manual intervention in term loans. So you might not find this in term loan, but you might find this in CC for sure. Only thing is that as auditor, we should be exercising this caution and keep on checking this, because that is where some revenue leakage can be there. Or I would say as auditor, we have a reverse responsibility. If customer is overcharged, borrower is overcharged, even in that case, we need to report this and pass an MOC and get them credited that interest. So either way, it is going minus or plus. MOC to rahegi. Only thing is that we need to be a bit vigilant and check this parameter, that whether they, on the renewal they are really. So again, I would say for CC account, wherever possible, लेके बैठिए थोड़ी सी फाइल, जितने फाइल ज्यादा होगे तो ले लीजिए, एटलीस्ट इतना चेक कर लीजिए. एंड इफ यू very easily spot something like this, then quickly grab that account, उसकी text dump बुला लीजिए and recalculate it. Otherwise, आपकी MOC नहीं बनेगी. Okay, that's it. Any more questions? I think there are no questions, so I will close from my side
Yeah.
and hand over session again back to administrator.
Yeah. Thank you, Dhananjay. Any participants who wants to ask any more questions? No, I think. Okay. Okay. On behalf of the Devinagar Study Circle, I would like to now propose a vote of thanks to our today's speaker, Mr. Dhananjay Gokhale. Thank you for your interactive session. And we see a lot of videos on Excel working, but actually doing it with you has greatly helped our participants to actually grasp the skills. Thank you so much. Also, I would like to thank all the participants for their patient hearing. I would like to also thank you for sharing your Excel working, which will be beneficial for them in the future as well. And thank you all. Thank you. I would like to now close the session.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.